What's up, leaders? Welcome to another episode of Lead From Here podcast. I'm Jason. Today we are talking about leading with influence instead of authority. So this is kind of the foundation of this channel. Not kind of, it really is the foundation of this channel, is being able to lead wherever you are, regardless of title, but not by title, by action. Like, that's ultimately what it is you're looking for opportunities to help people in any way you possibly can, regardless of your title, regardless of you actually directly lead people or not. There are always opportunities as a human to lead in certain situations, and this is where influence comes in. Because ultimately, even if you are a leader with a title, if you cannot influence people, it doesn't matter. Your authority will only go so far. So it's important to understand how to influence effectively. Influence in a positive way. Influence can go very negative if you do it in the wrong way. But if you do it in the right way, influence can be a superpower for you and for the people around you. So let's talk about how you can get to that point of being able to influence people regardless of your title, even if you have. The first thing to do is establish credibility. That does not mean talking about it. It means showing it. Showing you have the skills to, one, do the job, two, to understand what's going on, and three, to make good calls most of the time. You're not going to get it all right. You're going to fail sometimes. That's okay. From there, it's taking all of that information and understanding when to push and when not to push. There's going to be situations when you're in a group of people, everybody's got an idea, and all the group's going to come to one idea, and you can know, based on your skill set, but based on your experience, it's going to lead to a failure. Now, it's up to you to understand if they're walking off a cliff versus just a failure. If it's just a failure, let it happen. Let it go. Like, make sure you say your piece. Say, I think this is probably the best path forward based on my experience. If everybody still disagrees, that's okay. Let it go. Let them do their thing. Let it figure out. You guys move forward. Try it. And then when it fails, it's not an opportunity to say, hey, you're wrong. Or if it succeeded, it's not an opportunity for them to say, haha, we were right. It's very much just a learning opportunity. And if you push on it and you're like, no, this is the wrong way, you're kind of like, you're trying to use authority where you may or may not have it, but you're losing the respect, which is really what you're trying to get. You're trying to get people to respect your credibility. So say your piece, let them walk the path, and then move forward. If they fail, then you have a conversation about like, hey, let's learn from this failure. Let's see what we can do next time. And then next time you say something, they might listen. May take a second time, may take a third time, but eventually you're going to build that thing up like, oh, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. Maybe we should listen to them in these situations of chaos and change and big decisions. The next thing to do is come prepared. Like, this is something that I see happen a lot. A lot of people think that now they're a leader, they're just kind of like, yeah, hey, I'm here, and yeah, we'll have one-on-ones and we'll talk and we'll do whatever. But at the end of the day, they're not coming prepared. They're not doing their due diligence on looking at the work in front of them, understanding it to a very deep level, being the SME as best you possibly can. Coming prepared doesn't mean having all the answers all the time. That means that you have as much answers as you can possibly have with the information in front of you, and then the skills to go figure out the answer. That also goes back to your credibility. So if you can do those things, and then you're quickly following up with like, hey, I figured out the answer, that will show that you are prepared to do what is necessary to lead. And then the next big one, and honestly this is the biggest one, is build a relationship based on trust and empathy and respect. Like, if you can do that, you can build a foundation to build a team, even if you're not actually a team, or even if those people don't report to you. So how do you do that? Well, the first thing is to connect on an emotional level. It cannot be this superficial thing. You have to get to know them. You have to care about them. You have to really get to know them as a person and understand what will be beneficial for them as an individual, not just what's best for the team and the business. If you can do that, and you can continue to do that over time, you will build a relationship based on trust and empathy and respect, which will allow you to connect emotionally with them, which will allow you to really get to the heart of it, which is understanding them and understanding their motivations and understanding where they're trying to go. And if you can get to that point, you will have everything you need to influence effectively, because they know that you can be trusted and respected. And they know that you have empathy and understand where they're coming from and understand who they are. And if you can do that, you can take a team from just being a team, or you can take a group of just being a group of random people to being a force for whatever needs to happen in the company or the church or the community or the whatever, the volunteer organization. All of those things. You can make significant change with a group that is bound together like that. So last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 of my most important characteristics for a leader to have to help support influence. The first one is active listening. That is the most important thing. Every time you're in a conversation, one-on-one, group, anything, actively listen. Make sure people understand that you know what's going on. Make sure people feel like they're being heard. Don't just wait to respond. Make sure that they feel like they're being heard. The second one is be mindful of everybody else's needs. That is empathy to the core, but ultimately, like, be mindful. Understand what's happening in the dynamics in the group and the team and the whatever you're in. Make sure that you are mindful of what's going on. Is somebody dealing with health issues? Is somebody dealing with family issues? Is somebody dealing with, like, struggle with confidence within their job? What is happening within the team, and how can you support that? How can you support this person in the group that is struggling with something? How do you do that? Be mindful of that. Be able to take feedback. This is the hardest one for anybody to take because a lot of people immediately get defensive. It's important if you're trying to build influence, you're trying to become a leader of a group or a team, you have to be able to take feedback. And sometimes it's not going to feel good. Sometimes it's going to feel real bad. And that's okay. That's part of it. Take it in. Don't respond. Take a breath. Just listen. And then when they leave, or you leave, that's when you get a chance to cry it out, get angry, do your thing. But make sure that they think that what you're hearing, you hear, and you can take it. And then get to work. Action on the things that you think need to be fixed. Get input from others if you're not sure. The next characteristic is being able to build relationships. Life is all about developing relationships. And if you can build relationships in the company outside of just the group you're leading or your team or whatever, it shows that you also, it goes to your credibility. It goes to your ability to build relationships with others. It goes to the trust factor that comes with all those things. It goes to being prepared. All of those things are impacted by your ability to build relationships, not just with your people, but people outside of your team, your group, your area, your department. That is very important. And lastly, bring positive energy to the group. Always bring positive energy to any situation, I think. Don't have blind positivity or blind optimism. Be positive. Be a positive force for when even things are going wrong. Say, hey, I understand this, but we can recover. It's cool. We got this. Let's do it. Let's make a plan, or this is the plan, or all the things. Be a positive force for good in your team. Be a positive energy within the group. And I promise you, you will see more influence because people just want to be around you and people want to listen to you and people want to do things with you because you're positive, you got a great attitude, and you bring others up when you're positive like that. I hope this is helpful. It's a lot of information, but I think it's very important to know how to influence people without a title, because even the title won't help if you're not good at influence. So continue to work to build trust, build empathy, be thoughtful, be empathetic, do all those things that you are as a leader, as a person, to people around you, and I promise you over time you will build that influence. It's not a light switch. It's going to take time, but just keep working at it. If you have any questions, hit me up, jason@leadfromhere.co. If you like what you're hearing, please like, follow, subscribe, all those things. I would greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, take care.